Hello everyone and welcome back to Will a Wonderful World for episode 7. Now when I came back into the game, I didn't realize that when I ended the last episode, I didn't get any new letters. I'm not exactly sure what to do about that. I'm going to come back here and do Alicia and Kang Bakya's letters again, see if I can get a better ending for Alicia. Hopefully we can do that. I'm gonna shoot for a better ending, but I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to do that. I know we just finished Li Wen and Jimmy's letters here. We got S rank and star endings for both of them. The absolute best outcome. I'm going to leave those at that because Li Wen's getting a little baka baka with Zhao Ren over there. And Jimmy's getting better at tennis so that he can impress Li Wen. Not exactly going to work out too much in his favor, but we'll have to see on that later on in the game. Right now, like I said, I'm going to go back to Alicia's story, see if I can make this a little bit better. Let's see. I'm gonna say there were no bullets in the gun for him. Things might go bad, but at least he would know before the bullet comes out and he wouldn't pull the trigger. Maybe things wouldn't go so bad for him. Things aren't going to change for him. Okay, that's fine. But things are going to change for Alicia, maybe get better? I accidentally knocked down a ladder that had been put against the wall. The guard in the room woke up. He stumbled into the hallway, still quite sleepy. I suddenly had an idea. Hands up. Don't make a sound or I'll shoot. I pointed the gun at his head. He held his hands up high and began sweating. Walk to the gate slowly. Do not speak to them. Do not lower your hands. Do not turn around. I pressed the gun against the back of his head and we walked slowly towards the gate. Oh, things are already... Okay. My palms were completely wet with his sweat. Or wet with sweat, rather. Only I knew that I was more nervous than he. When we were only a few hundred meters away from the port, I smashed his head with the gun as hard as I could and knocked him out. Well, you go, girl. And then I ran away as fast as possible. I didn't dare look back. There were still plenty of people on the street. Many stores were still open, even in the middle of the night. People were shooting me strange looks when I ran past them. They all seemed to be Asians. Yes, she fucking made it out, hell yeah. But I didn't dare stop and talk to them. Julia had been right about one thing. Dreams did come true when you did your best. I didn't know how long I had run, but I couldn't take even one more step. I collapsed into a bunch of paper boxes stacked at the corner of an alley. Well, shit, things went so much better for her. Rank S from an X ending. And nothing changed for Kang. Did this bring in some new letters? Yes! Okay. Yes, sir. You have solved Kang Bakya's problem, but don't forget about Chang Yongmin's letter from earlier. Oh, right, it almost slipped my mind. So I have to go back and... God damn it, I have to go back and do Carlos and Chang again? Okay, no, that's fine, We'll see. God damn it. I don't know... Hang on, give me 1 sec. I'm gonna go back and check Kang's letter real quick. Okay, I'm gonna retry this. I'm gonna leave this option over here for Alicia, but I'm gonna move "there were no bullets in the gun" down below "a bullet flew out without me seeing it." Maybe that will change things, because that is an outcome I haven't done yet. I looked in my history. So let's see. Nope, things went exactly the same. Well, Chang and Carlos seem to be fucked. Let me see. Okay, I think I'm going to try this right here. I'm going to leave Carlos with the "I walked over there and my cell phone fell to the ground" because things seem to go well for him there. As for Chang, I have not tried this yet, where the fire truck arrives and then his phone rings. Let's see what happens. Ooh, things are changing. So things are still good for Carlos. Let's see if they look up a little bit more for Chang. Who the hell would be calling me at this godforsaken moment? I turned around and answered the phone quietly. It was Lieutenant Kang. Lieutenant briefly asked me about the situation and told me to hand the phone over to the husband. Ooh, are things gonna go? Yes! Yes! Okay, good. It was the Bung Moon Gang. What? Is it true? Oh my. Oh my, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Did you start crying? He hung up the phone, dropped the knife, and hugged his wife, sobbing uncontrollably. Sue, it's all okay now. We can have our lives back. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. It was all my fault. What just happened? I took my phone back from the man, confused. A strong gust of wind blew past us and the man lost his balance. No! I quickly reacted, took a big step forward and grabbed him, trying to pull him back. Oh no, wait, the fire truck's there, so we'll fall, it'll all be okay. But I was pulled over instead. We fell off the ledge together. The world was spinning. It was 10 floors off the ground. No one would survive if we hit the ground. I swung my right arm out as hard as I could towards the roof ledge. Something flew out of my coat. It was a white ribbon I had wrapped around my forearm with a small spearhead tied to its end. What? What? The spearhead wrapped around the metal bar on the ledge a few times and tightened the ribbon. What? Are you fucking doing some, like, Assassin's Creed grappling hook shit going on? What the hell? It was my secret weapon. I called it my tail. Oh, goody, yes. For a moment I let out a sigh of relief, thinking that we were safe. But the bar couldn't hold our weight and began to bend. I tightened my left fist and grabbed the man's shirt harder. I burned the last drop of energy inside me with all of the adrenaline I had, and forced every single muscle cell in me to release all of their power. Justice was not something that I only talked about. I threw him up towards the roof. We were quickly moving away from each other in opposite directions. The metal bar finally gave out, and it was torn away from the concrete on the ledge. I began falling with it. I could hear the wind gushing in my ears. This is my justice. He better not have died. The fire truck was there, so he's... Okay, they both got S rank endings. Yes, okay, we got some new letters. Let's see, who are they from? Jimmy, whoa, this is new. A branching path, so different outcomes? I guess? I'm not entirely sure. And Carlos, we got a new one here. Are these connected? What? Okay. 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 Let's see here. My mother had always complained that I never exercised. She would always say that if I ever needed to run away from bad guys, I'd be dead in just a few steps. There were not that many bad guys in the world. Besides, even if there were, I could just stay in my room and not go outside. Yeah, you could. It was the information era now. As long as I could get the information online, I could play with the real world in the palm of my hand. Yet, even though I managed to dodge all of the recruiting activities for the school sports meet, my roommate had totally ruined my perfect plan. Today was the all-school sports meet. I thought I could have made up an excuse, like a foot injury, so that I wouldn't even have to sit under a tree, and I could just stay in my room and play on my computer. Yet, Rocky had signed me up for the 4x400 relay race without my even knowing about it, and now I had to stand under the scorching sun. 400 meters! This was madness. It says 4x400. I'm not exactly sure what that means. Maybe that's just the name of it. I don't know. The last time I had been in a race, I was still in elementary school. I hadn't even hit puberty. I thought I might die on the track today. I like that emoji. That's a good emoji. The gun went off. I took it from his hand. I never knew that Rocky was so fast. Our team was actually in first place now during his third leg run. Still, why was I the final leg? Are we gonna get to change that around so that maybe he's the first or the middle? Make Rocky the last leg so that he can blitz to the end? What were people thinking? Jimmy, you're very self-deprecative. There was nothing else I could do but run like my life depended on it. The people alongside the tracks were cheering for me. I couldn't really tell who they were, but this actually felt pretty great. I was only 50 meters away from the finish line, and no one had caught up with me yet. I must have underestimated myself. Look at me, Mom. Your son is about to win a race. I looked straight ahead to the finish line, and I saw her. I saw my crush. Oh no. Don't distract me at such a moment. Yet it was too late. I had only lost my focus for 1 second, and the tip of my foot tripped over a bump on the track. My entire body left the ground, and then my face smashed into the ground. Story of my fucking life, man. By the time I got back up, the other teams had all run past the finish line. Oh, no! Jimmy. Wonderful story, Jimmy. Let's see what Carlos has, and let's see how the fuck these are going to correspond. I'm not sure if they're supposed to correspond exactly, or if that just means they're going on at the same time. I assumed they corresponded if it had the line in between them, but I don't know, I guess not. Let's see. Although it had just suffered a fire, Pitt Street 99 was still open for business. It was a small and old building. The walls were covered with flyers and graffiti. I walked through the main gate and saw a narrow staircase. There was also a small desk at the bottom of the stairs facing the entrance. A man with spiky hair was sitting behind the desk with his legs crossed. He put down the magazine, which had a woman with big breasts on the cover, and asked what I was doing there. I told him that a man in a long black trench coat had told me to come here. Trench coat? Everyone here wears a trench coat. I'm telling you, this is not some place that you can just walk in. You'd better get out of here before I stab you with a knife. Specifically with a knife. Specifically. Spiky hair picked up the magazine again. I tried to recall what the guy looked like. White shirt, gray vest, short, black hair that was combed at the back. He also had a big guy in a black suit with a scarred face by his side. A scarred face? Mr. Tough? Hold on, does the guy you're talking about have his right hand? Spiky hair put down his magazine in his legs, leaned towards me, and asked quietly. Right hand? I couldn't remember exactly, but I did remember that he picked up my phone with his left hand. He shouted upstairs, Mr. Kwan, the guy you've been waiting for is here. I looked at the staircase with anticipation. However, the man who came down was not the one I had met. He was wearing a leather jacket and a pair of sunglasses. He had high cheekbones and he looked much older. He took me all the way to a suburb on the back of his motorcycle. Mr. Kwan spoke very fluent English. He told me that the building we had just been in was the headquarters of the Black Dragon Gang, the biggest gang in Hong Kong. Well, that's what I assumed. And the person who had told me to come was the second in command of the gang. He had instructed Mr. Kwan, M. Kwan, I think that's a typo, to induct me as a pledge. Oh, shit. A pledge was a potential candidate to join the gang. Wait, Black Dragons are the ones going against the ones that kidnapped Alicia? I don't remember the names exactly, and I don't remember if Black Dragon were the ones that took Alicia or not. But I'm assuming since they saw the picture, they're wanting to induct him as a pledge so that he can help fight back against them because he has a reason to, I suppose. But before officially admitting me, Mr. Kwan had to make sure if I was qualified. Mr. Kwan put a gun in my hand. Oh shit, you're not gonna have to kill somebody, are you? I was stunned into speechlessness. You don't have to do it. If you're not willing to do this, we can leave right now. You'll just pretend that you have never met me. Mr. Kwan took a small metal box out of his pocket and threw a piece of gum in his mouth. No. I'll do it. I couldn't let go of any chance to find Alicia. Besides, I had a brilliant idea. I went into a convenience store nearby. Most of the goods on the shelves seemed to be used goods. Some of them were covered with a thick layer of dust. The owner looked like he was over 60. He was reading a book behind the counter. It was just the two of us in the store. I walked up to the counter, smashed my left hand down on it, lifted the gun with my right hand, and pointed it at his head. I yelled in my meanest voice. Give me all your money, or I'm gonna blow your head open. Then I whispered to the old man about what was going on, making sure that Mr. Kwan wouldn't be able to hear me. I was so nervous, even though I had no intention of robbing him for real. I handed him what was in my hand. "Please!" The owner put down his book and looked at me pleadingly. "We need the money here for my wife's hospital bill. I can't give it to you. Everything else in this shop, if you like, is all yours. All yours. Please. Please." Apparently, he had only heard my threats, not my whispers. Tears rolled down my face. I must have lost my mind to be robbing a poor old man like this. Even if it was all fake, I never should have done this. I handed the gun to the owner and loudly told him while I was there and what I had been through. To my utter surprise, after hearing my story, the owner offered to help me ask about my sister and even asked if I would be willing to stay here and help out in the store. Offered to help me ask about my sister. What does that mean? What? Oh, like, okay. God damn it. He said I was welcome to stay as long as I didn't mind the little wage he could afford. I gave the old man a huge hug. Outside the store, Mr. Kwan had already left. I would never see him again. I started working at the store while looking for information about Alicia. Days went by, but I still hadn't heard anything. Lord, what should I do to find my sister? Should I have joined the gang instead? Carlos. Yeah, probably, because like I said, I'm not sure if the black gangs were the ones that kidnapped his sister, or if they're the ones going against the gang that kidnapped his sister. So it'd be good to join them if they're the ones against that gang. In this letter, there's the sequence special restriction that we talked about before. If you put "I handed him" and "I caught it from" both on the left side, then the former has to happen after the latter. Because you can't hand the baton over and then have it back again. Furthermore, if you put "the gun went off" piece on the left side too, it has to happen before the match begins. So there's another sequence restriction on this piece too. All sequence restrictions are labeled by a number. The pieces with smaller numbers cannot be placed after the pieces with larger numbers. Since the aforementioned restrictions only apply to the left side, there is a straight vertical line in the middle of the red diamond. And the number is marked on the left side of the line. Oh boy, I'm completely lost. That's not all. You'll get used to all of these red signs eventually. Okay then, I'll try my best to remember them. Alright, let's see what we can do here. So, if we change things, let's see. If I literally just add this over here, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Let's see. Oh, things are not going to change for Carlos, but things are going to change for Jimmy. I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I had to take one more step, I was going to throw up blood and die right there, right then. Our team was in second place. It was all up to Rocky now. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters, but something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? In the end, not only did Rocky fail to pass Class 2, he was eventually passed by Class 4, 10 meters away from the finish line. That sucked. Although, being a part of this actually felt pretty great. Oh, well, that's good. Things went well for Jimmy, rank A. I mean, they went relatively well. We're going to retry that again. Let's see. What if you say please before you take it from... I know I'm just kind of moving things around. I'm honestly not sure where to start with these letters, with switching things around. I'm kind of just fucking around to see what happens. Things, again, are not going to change for Carlos, but things are going to change for Jimmy. What the fuck? What else is going to happen now? I finally handed the baton off to the next leg. If I had to take one more step, I was going to throw up blood and die right there, right then. Our team was in second place. It was all up to Rocky now. Rocky soon finished the first 200 meters, but something didn't seem right. Had he eaten something bad today? This seems the same, but it showed that it was going to change it. Let's go, Rocky! Go, go, go! I'll buy you ice cream! Okay, okay. Now that I had participated, I wanted us to win too. I couldn't help but start cheering Rocky on. Many of the people around me were cheering for him too. I never knew that participating in this kind of event could actually feel pretty great. Rocky suddenly sped up. He finally ran past Class 2 with 10 meters left, and he crossed the finish line first. Well done. We were happily hugging and shoving each other near the finish line. My stomach hurt a little. Can we do barbecue instead of ice cream? You're funny. I pushed Rocky aside and accidentally caught a glimpse of someone. It was my crush. And she was looking at us. And she was smiling. Oh yes, okay. Wow, I never knew I could get this kind of reward by participating in the meet. God dang it. I felt so happy. So happy. Alright, things went awesome for Jimmy. I'm gonna retry this again. Ooh, the gun went off. That's bad. Okay, let's not put that over here because we don't want to shoot this man. Let's see what I took it from his hand is going to do. It looks like it's going to change both. Oh, it's just going to change Carlos. Okay, good. Good. So Jimmy's going to get the same ending. Carlos might get a better ending. The owner was so frightened that he was shaking. He immediately took the few large bills in his drawer out and handed them to me. Apparently, he had only heard my threats, not my whispers. Watching a 60-year-old man with an ailing wife at home crying and begging me to spare his life, I could barely hold the tears in myself. Fuck. I mean, guys, I know it's fucked up. But at the same time, he's gotta find his fucking sister, man. God damn it, this irks me. Mr. Kwan took the money from my hand with a satisfied look on his face. I was then admitted into the Black Dragon gang. A few days later in the evening, I took a motorcycle from someone else in the group and came back to the store. I stuffed all of the money I had borrowed for the past few days under the rolling door of the store. Sorry, and thank you, Mr. Owner. Good! Fucking good on you, Carlos. Good on fucking you. And we got a rank S ending for both of them? Sweet! Okay, we got a star ending for Jimmy, but we didn't get a star ending for Carlos. I wonder what that means. Well, we got 2 new letters here. Ooh, we got a new character. A piece of rope. And then another one for Carlos. Are these two also going to correspond or happen at the same time or whatever the hell the line in between them means? Alright, let's start with the new character here. Oh, it's a little kid. My name is Park Sang-gun. I'm 12 years old. I live in Korea. My home was on a hill. There were a lot of similar old houses on that hill, and the one that was highest was my home. There were good and bad things about living there. The good thing was, since our house was so high up, we got to be farther away from the other houses, and so we had a big yard. However, I had to climb the stairs for over half an hour every day just to go buy my dad a bottle of vodka at the convenience store at the bottom of the hill. What? I don't know the alcohol laws in Korea, but I'm pretty sure you can't just buy a bottle of vodka at 12 years old, even if it is just for your dad and you're not going to drink it. If I didn't go, my dad would get angry. He would beat me with his belt. It wasn't just me either. He would also hit my mom too. I never understood why he would do that. I just wish that if we could figure that out, maybe Mom wouldn't be beaten anymore. Dad was a road construction and maintenance worker. He used to come back home with mud all over his clothes. But for the past 2 months, he always came home clean. Ooh, I smell an affair. Sometimes he would bring back some money and give it to Mom. Other times, though, he would take some money out of the pot where we kept our food money. Mom always worked very hard. She had to wash a lot of clothes and sheets during the day for other people. She said she was getting paid for washing them. I really wanted to help Mom, but I was too short. I couldn't even reach the pole where she hung the clothes and sheets to dry. Alex came by today. He lived on the hill too. Alex was Russian, just like my mom. They both had blonde hair and blue eyes, just like me. The other kids who lived nearby didn't like me at all. They always said that I looked weird. Only Sue Me from the bakery would play with me. She had once told me that she wanted to open a cake shop together with me, but I didn't like cakes. There was an ant nest in our yard. I was watching the ants carrying things into their nest. I bet they must have a very big home. Suddenly, it started raining. A large raindrop almost blocked the entrance to the nest. I went back inside to get an umbrella, then I came back and covered the nest. Mom and Alex were taking the sheets back inside. Then Dad came home. Uh-oh, what's about to happen? He was Korean. He had black hair and brown eyes. He was back earlier than usual today. He saw Alex there and kicked the umbrella away. Alex left. Mom went into the house with Dad. I followed them inside as well. You slutty bitch! Dad slapped Mom in the face and pushed her to the floor. I doubt she was cheating on him. I highly doubt it. What the fuck are you doing, Korean Dad? What are you doing? He took a rope out from the cabinet. The rope wrapped around her neck and choked her. What the fuck? This kid's fucking 12 years old. 5 minutes later, I grabbed onto Dad's arm with my whole body, but I couldn't stop Dad. He was too strong for me. He kicked me in the stomach and shoved me off of him. I fell and crashed into the corner of the room. Bastard! Dad called me that word a lot. I used to ask Mom what it meant. She told me that it just meant bad child. Sure, we'll go with that. Dad finally let go. Mom collapsed onto the floor, but she didn't get back up, as if she had fallen asleep. I tried to shake her awake. I tried as hard as I could and shouted as loud as I could. She would not wake up. I heard the door open behind me. I turned around. Dad had run out. I didn't know where he was going. I held onto Mom's arm and cried. Why? I had always been a good child. God, please let my mom wake up. I promise I'll be an even better child. I promise I will never be a bastard ever again. Park Sang-gun. God damn, shit is shitty for this little dude. What the hell? Or at least I hope it's a dude. I think it's a dude. Shit. Now back to Carlos. Let's see how he's doing with the gang. I had been a member of the Black Dragon gang for 2 months, but I had still yet to officially meet Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin? The head of the organization, I guess? Mr. Lin was this... Oh, okay, second in command. That's the one he met. Mr. Lin was the second in command of the Black Dragon gang. We met once on the day of the fire at Pitt Street 99. He was also the one who had inducted me into the gang. I thought I would be able to get some information about my sister once I joined the gang. But soon, I had found out that everyone in my group, including our leader Mr. Kwan, knew nothing about her. As for Mr. Lin himself, he rarely ever came to number 9 in person. Or number 99, rather. Still, there were some upsides for joining the gang. At least I didn't have to worry about room and board anymore. My Cantonese was also improving a lot. Besides, not everyone in the gang was as scary as one would expect of a gang member. Ren was one of the nice guys. Ren. I'm sorry, that's just a name that I use for a lot of stuff. It's interesting. I belonged to the group loyalty team. The group oversaw the loan business, so we were essentially the loan sharks in the gang. Now that I had become a member, I couldn't just coast along without doing anything, but I also didn't want to do wrong things. I had told Ren about my predicament during one of our conversations. Ren then told Mr. Kwan that he wanted to bring me along when he went for debt collecting. Every time we went, Ren would whisk the kids of the families away first. Then, I would tear apart their old clothes, spill some chicken blood on them, and mail the clothing to the debtors. Wow, okay. Once we were sure that the debtors had received the bloody clothes, Ren would then make a phone call. Hey, you got the package, right? I'm giving you 3 days. If you still don't have our money, you'll be getting more than just clothes next time. He sounded like Uncle Wang, the big butcher at the street corner with a violent attitude. Uncle Wang. The afro on his head would bounce 3 times with a rhythm every time he yelled at his customers. As soon as he put down the phone, he would immediately turn into a preschool teacher and go play with our hostages who were wearing the new clothes we had just bought them. Ren would get scolded by Mr. Kwan every once in a while. He said Hong Kong was too small of a place. If everyone learned how group loyalty handled the business, it would become more and more difficult to collect the money. But Ren never took it seriously. He knew that I had come to Hong Kong to find my sister. Even though he couldn't help much, he would always allow me to go out and look for her whenever there weren't any assignments. Every time Mr. Kwan asked about me, he would also cover for me. Just like today, I had been out asking around the whole morning, but I still got nothing. When I got back to number 99, everyone in the group seemed to have a strange smirk on their faces. Ren said that they were going to get a massage, and they had been waiting for me to come back so that they could put me on watch duty. I'm going to click on this. It's going to be not really a massage. It's going to be a massage with a happy ending, isn't it? Yep, sex work. Okay, that's all I needed to know. I'm not going to go into detail about that. I laughed knowingly. Help yourself to the beer on the table. I paid for those. We're off. Oh, and I almost forgot. There's someone in the room who Mr. Kwan had told us to keep an eye on. Don't let her get away. Oh, shit. It's not her, is it? Then they left. A girl was tied to a chair in the corner of the room. Although there was a cloth stuffed into her mouth, she still seemed very pretty. Okay, no, it's not her, because he would have recognized her. She looked Asian, but she had dark skin like mine. Her eyes were thin and curly with a pair of new moons, like a pair of new moons. Her shining black hair draped down off of her head like a dark waterfall, and she was wearing a purple short skirt. It looked that the skirt had been torn on its side. Oh, they didn't rape her, did they? Well, if Mr. Kwan wanted her watched, then I should just watch her. No need to think too much about it. I slapped my cheeks to keep myself alert. I raised the bottle. Then a rope snapped. I was reading the labels on Ren's beers when I heard the sound of a rope snapping. You just said that... Okay. Before I could turn around, I felt a hand strike the back of my neck. like a karate chop? Is she in judo or something? And I blacked out. I didn't know how long had passed. A bucket of cold water was thrown in my face. I woke up with a shudder and opened my eyes. I saw Mr. Kwan standing right in front of me. Everybody was back in the room. They all had a terrible look on their faces. I looked to the corner again. The chair was still there, and there were 2 halves of a rope on the floor. The girl was gone. Oh crap. I had made a terrible mistake. Ren tossed the knife over to me and looked away. I had not been in the group for long, but I knew the rules. Oh, he doesn't have to, kill himself, does he? If I wanted to stay, I had to do this. Or is he just going to carve something? Oh, what? I bit my lips hard and cut off my left pinky finger. What the shit? Half the bloody finger dropped to the floor. Blood was still... How do you just do that? Like it's a fucking thing to do or something. It hurt like hell, but I was a man. I didn't make a sound. Who on earth was that girl? If only I had been more alert. Why did he cut off his own pinky finger? That's what I'm fucking saying. I mean, I know it's for the gang, but what the fuck? It's a ritual in the mafia and some gangs. If you made a mistake, you must cut off your own pinky finger, just the pinky. Some gangs might even demand their new members to cut it off before officially joining. What? That's so scary. Yeah. Carlos. Let's see. I'm not exactly sure we're going to be able to switch around, but let's see. Oh, crap. That would be for the girl. So. Let's see here. if the rope wrapped around her neck and choked her, and then it snaps. Or actually, you know what? I raised the bottle. Nothing else is going to happen to them, but them, it's going to be 5 minutes later, and it's still going to snap. Oh, things are not going to change for him, but things are going to change for Carlos. Let's see what happens. Mr. Kwan had come back. Okay, so she didn't even get up and escape at all. He pulled up a chair in front of the girl and sat down. He began asking her questions. The others had come back from the massage as well. We were all standing next to the wall. No one dared make a sound. From Mr. Kwan's questions, I learned that the girl's name was Ye. Or Yi? Ye. I'm gonna go with Ye. Mr. Kwan had only met her recently. Mr. Kwan had even bought her an apartment. Mr. Kwan was a tough man, but he had always been very gentle to women, and he had never slept around either. Therefore, he couldn't tolerate being betrayed by this woman. A few days ago, he had found out that Ye had been hanging out with people from the Blood Gang. Yeah, there's a Black Dragon Gang, and then there's the Blood Gang, or Blood Dragon Gang? I think they're the ones that kidnapped Alicia. He began to suspect that she had been approaching him with other intentions. He decided to find out the truth. Mr. Kwan dumped a bucket of ice water over on her head. The air conditioning had been set to max power and at 16 degrees Celsius, and it was blowing directly at her. Every time she would not answer a question, he would cut off some of her hair or slap her in the face. Ye was quite tough though. Her mouth had started bleeding. Almost all of her hair had been cut off and she still hadn't spoken once. But Mr. Kwan was tougher. He sent Ren to fetch him a bottle of white flower oil. He twisted off the cap, forced Ye's eyes open, and was about to drop it into her eyes. Whoa, I don't know what white flower oil is, but that doesn't sound very good. Ye was shaking uncontrollably and tears were welling out of her eyes. She was finally broken. Mr. Kwan was right about everything. Ye was not just a member of the Blood Gang, she was also the niece of their big boss, Mr. Chang. Mr. Chang Yongmin? But that wasn't what had angered Mr. Kwan the most. Ye hadn't seduced him to infiltrate group loyalty for our loan business. She was only trying to get closer to the other groups of the Black Dragon Gang. She had only chosen Kwan because he was single, and therefore an easier and more convenient target for her. The Blood Gang had never cared about the loan business at all. Sorry about that, I got interrupted again. I know that keeps happening, and I apologize about that. I'm trying not to do that, but at least they're just interruptions rather than me not being able to record for hours on end because I have friends over, etc., etc. Anyways, let's just get back into this. I'm not exactly sure I was. I think right here, Mr. Kwan was outraged, feeling incredibly insulted. Carlos, take care of this bitch. Never let me see her again. Well, so things went well for him, but let's see. We're going to retry here. Things did not change for him, so she died anyways. The rope snapped. Let's see. I raised the bottle, and then something else happens 5 minutes later, maybe? Let's see. Oh, things are not going to change for Carlos, but that's good. That's actually kind of good. Because he had a good ending. He had an S ending. The rope fell out of Dad's hands. He was about to pick it up when the doorbell rang. Ooh, yes. Dad then went into the yard. It sounded like Alex had brought some people over to intervene. Oh, shit! He had once tried to do it by himself, but he was badly beaten by Dad and kicked out. He never dared to come back on his own since. When Dad returned from the door, he seemed to have forgotten about what was going on. He just gave me a kick when he walked past me and went straight to bed. Mom sat on the ground and cried. I climbed over into her arms just like I always did. Every time Dad lost his temper, we would huddle together like this. It was the only way we could make ourselves feel better. We were lucky enough to get through it this time. But what about next time? How long did we have to keep living like this? I hated to be so scared all the time. I wished I never had a dad like him. Alright, we got a rank A ending for Mr. Park over here. I think that's good. I might just leave it there. No, I didn't get any new letters, so I may actually retry that, but I'm going to put that off until the next episode. Oh, dude, I've got S rank endings for everybody. I got S rank endings across the board except for Park, so I think that's what's going to have to be fixed before we're able to continue. But anyways, I will catch you guys in the next one, and I apologize about that interruption. Bye-bye.